Morning all. I have a really outrageous test game for my series on brief commentary series, and it's quite a long game which I would never otherwise show you. It was played between Rybka, the chess computer, and Hikaru Nakamura in 2008 on the 3-minute time control apparently. I don't believe there was increments, so I think a lot of this was pre-moves, what you're about to witness. Rybka playing white kicked off with the Grob, believe it or not, obviously inspired by Mike Basman as well. So G4, and Nakamura plays D5. We see H3 and now H5, prompting this pawn to go forward, and then black can try and use this F5 square. This is one of the problems, it's a bit of a fixed structure for white. So we see G6, D4, Bishop G7, Knight C3. No pressure on D5 here, and black is locking down the position here on the light squares. Knight H4, and doesn't mind double pawns here. The computer takes, and black's got a grip on the position, a very, very strong, tight grip, fortress-like grip here. White castle's queenside. Now Knight F8, Knight E6. We see a lovely kind of blockade now of the whole position, and the computer is not really finding any pawn breaks here. If you look at this position, there's no pawn breaks in sight, and in fact Nakamura is now closing up the queen side, so we have a locked pawn structure on both sides, so a kind of mutual fortress type position. And now after A5 it's definitely becoming like locked up, and this is kind of a Petrosian style fortress. Now bishop takes D6, okay, and from here on in there's not much going on for a while. So this is at move 39 now. You can see that Nakamura is playing moves very quickly, but he knows his position is fundamentally impenetrable at this point. And we're approaching a kind of 50 move draw rule, in fact, which states that if there's no pawn move or capture for 50 moves, then the game can be declared drawn. But now look at this instant here. Nakamura has just played rook e6, allowing his queen and rook to be forked. So this is at move 59. So in this way he's avoided the 50 move draw rule. That counter would start from here now, from 0 again, because of that exchange pieces. So that something different, fundamentally different, has happened in the position. So that was at move 59, and we carry on like this now, where the computer seems to be making aimless moves. There's nothing really to calculate here. It's a kind of absolute fortress position, even though white's technically material up, and white, if you look at the breaks in the position, it's only C4 or E4 which can be potential breaks for white. The other pawns are all on dark squares, and white is kind of weak on the E4 square. Can't really, black's got that strategic grip on E4. So we come up now to move 108. Now move 109, rook e4, is an interesting moment, because after bishop d3, again, to avoid a 50 move rule, the last time an event happened was at move 59. So 50 moves later, 50 full moves later, so that's 50 ply for each side, 100 half moves. Now Nakamura offers a second exchange, so he's torturing the computer. And at this time there's a little bit of a bug, unfortunately, in Rybka, that to be aware of, that the computer, if it thinks it's material up, will also try and avoid the 50 move rule. And so here we are at move 118, and then we get to a position here after queen g3, an interesting moment here that Nakamura doesn't mind even the exchange of queens. He's preserved his fortress, the knight's got a comfortable F5 square there. So again, it's impenetrable, although technically, white is material up. And now, Nakamura was the one avoiding the 50 move rules, and he's injected basically in two instances the computer to be more and more material up in the first two kind of checkpoints of this game. So we get to move like 143 now, and now we're approaching move 150. And aren't you glad I'm doing this in my brief commentary format? Otherwise we could be here looking at this game all day. But there's actually nothing really fundamentally different going on for a moment, except the last checkpoint where there was a kind of capture was on move 124, and we are actually approaching another 50 move rule kind of thing on about move 174 now. So move 174, when the last capture was queen takes f5 on move 124, we reach move 174, and now Rybka's, unfortunately, the Achilles heel, that's a good term, is shown here. The computer trying to avoid the 50 move draw rule, afterwards 2 exchanges up, not just 1 exchange. On move 174 plays c4, trying to do something, it resets the 50 move rule counter. It's an inferior move to what theoretically should be doing, but it's a Rybka bug which is often usually exposed in just engine versus engine games, in engine tournaments. And now b4 is a liability, and it's ganged up on. Lovely blockading knight on d5, and white's kind of tied down, and in fact the king is threatening an infiltration here. And here is a key interesting moment where king g4 might have actually been possible for knight e3, but it would still involve some complications perhaps. But Nakamura, he just avoids that. He plays bishop d6. If we just quickly check king g4, if the rook's moved off, then knight takes e3. But we get some complications here. We get an open file here. And even though black's better, the way the game was played here, Nakamura avoids king g4. He plays bishop d6, and the computer really cracks up. It should have really played rook g3 to prevent that. And again, now goes crazy with king b2, but it is a 3-minute game. Maybe it's also running out of time. So Nakamura's got b4 if he wants it. He stares at b4 for a little bit and now takes it here and takes this other pawn, and the king's in the way to attack the bishop, so it's getting out of the way. But now bishop b6, so now there's a5 if rook a2, and now these pawns on the queen side are really ample compensation for being 2 exchanges down. So we get this pawn advanced now, and the computer's desperate to try and give up a rook. It does give up a rook there, but now it's actually hopeless. The king is crashing through as well, and it's absolutely a hopeless position for the poor computer. The pawns are coming down on the king's side now, and we see a remarkable aesthetic trait of Nakamura here, that he creates a very interesting artistic kind of picture on the chessboard by underpromoting several bishops actually, and giving up the 2 knights. He gives up the 2 knights to leave an armada of bishops. I know, it's crazy, and the computer didn't want to take that one. Now it took, so he's left himself with exactly 5 bishops now, and with 5 bishops he does start surrounding the king a little bit, chases it. So the king's on the bottom right, he's chasing that king. He's going to chase it to the top left of the picture. So the top left, or is it the bottom left? No, it's the bottom left. Bottom left? No, it's the top left. It is actually the top left. So the king was chased from corner to corner, so going to the top left, and now it's indication time with king d6 that Nakamura wants to do the mate. It seems definitely on the top left. So on the top left of the board, the bishop's avoiding stalemate, but finally the knockout blow. On move 271, black played bishop from b to c6, check, mate. Hope you enjoyed that. Comments or questions on YouTube. I think the bug has since been repaired though. That was 2008. Thanks very much.